You know, we all face them. Every single day. Choices. Some are small, some are so big they feel like they could change everything. But what if there was a better way to make them? So let's dive in and figure out a framework for making smarter, faster decisions.
All right. It always starts with these, doesn't it? The hard choices, the ones that keep you up at night, just replaying scenarios, wrestling with all that uncertainty. And that fear, the fear of making the wrong move, man, it can be absolutely paralyzing, leaving us just stuck at a crossroads.
But here's what's really wild. The sheer volume of them. Get this, it's estimated that the average adult makes something like 35,000 remotely conscious decisions every single day. From what to wear to what to say in a meeting. I mean, no wonder we're all so exhausted, right?
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start with the daily dilemma, then get into why we get stuck. After that, we'll build a framework for clarity, talk about action over analysis, and finally, how to make being decisive a real lifelong habit.
All right, first up, let's tackle that emotional weight we attach to our choices and figure out why even the small ones can feel so huge.
You know, this really gets to the heart of a big illusion we all fall for. We have this idea that there's one single perfect path just waiting for us. And that pressure, that search for the one right choice, is what makes it so painful. It's what makes us terrified to commit to any choice at all.
So, this fear of messing up, it leads us right into our next big topic, the science behind what's called analysis paralysis.
Okay, so think about your decision-making ability like a phone battery. It's a finite resource. This is what experts call decision fatigue. And just like a muscle, your brain gets totally worn out from all that choosing. And when that happens, you either start making really impulsive bad choices or you just give up and avoid deciding altogether.
And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. There was this incredible study back in 2011 on judges. They found that parole approval rates were way higher in the morning and then just plummeted in the afternoon. And it had nothing to do with the cases themselves. It was all about the judges' mental batteries being drained. Their decision fatigue had huge, real-world consequences.
So what's happening inside our heads? Well, there's basically a tug of war going on. You've got the amygdala, your fear center, and it's just screaming, "Don't mess this up." And on the other side, you've got the prefrontal cortex, the logic center, trying to calmly work through the pros and cons. But guess what? When you're tired, that screaming amygdala usually wins.
And this whole mental battle gets even tougher because of these really common traps we all fall into. Like, sometimes we just don't have enough info. A lot of the time, it's a deep-seated fear of failure, or maybe a bad decision from the past is honking us. And for so many of us, worrying about what other people will think is the biggest roadblock of all.
Okay, so we've pretty much diagnosed the problem, right? Now let's talk about the good stuff, the solutions. In this next part, we're going to look at some really powerful tools to help cut through all that noise.
So one really profound way to think about this actually comes from Buddhist teachings. And the core idea is deceptively simple. Just pause. Before you act, whether it's something you do, something you say, or even just a thought, the idea is to repeatedly check in with your intention. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? And really think about the consequences.
And this whole idea can be broken down into 3 simple but super powerful questions you can ask yourself. First, does it hurt me? Second, does it hurt others? And third, is this a skillful action that's actually going to bring some peace? If you can answer no to the first 2 and a big yes to the third, well, there's your decision.
I love this next quote because it's such a great reminder to just let go of that impossible idea of perfection. I mean, the reality is, no matter which path you choose, life is going to have its challenges. There's no escaping it. And once you accept that every single option is going to be a mix of good and bad, it can free you from that paralyzing hunt for the flawless choice that doesn't exist. Okay, another awesome tool for your toolkit. The 10-10-10 rule. It's all about forcing yourself to zoom out. So you ask yourself, how will I feel about this choice in 10 minutes? Then, what about 10 months from now? And finally, the big one. In 10 times 10 years, how much will this really matter? It's amazing how quickly this trick can put things in perspective. All right, so with those frameworks in our back pocket, let's move on. This next part is all about one thing: getting out of our heads and into action. How do we actually stop the endless thinking and just do something? So there's this really powerful mental model,
famously used by Jeff Bezos, that splits all decisions into two types. First, you have type 1 decisions. Think of these as one-way doors. They're irreversible and have huge consequences, like quitting your job or something major. For these, yeah, you want to be slow and deliberate. But here's the key. Most decisions in life are type 2. They're two-way doors. They're reversible. If you make a mistake, you can just walk right back through. And for these, the goal is to decide quickly and move on.
And that idea connects perfectly to another key principle. Sometimes less really is more. I mean, if you wait until you have 100% of the information before you make a choice, you're just setting yourself up for inaction. The real goal should be to get to about 70% certainty. That's usually more than enough to make a good call. Because if you wait for 100%, chances are the opportunity will be long gone.
And what about all that small stuff that clogs up our day? For that, there's the 2-minute rule. You know, what to have for lunch, which show to watch. If the decision isn't going to have a major impact on your life a year from now, don't give it more than 2 minutes of your brain power. Seriously, this one little habit saves so much mental energy for the decisions that actually matter.
And that brings us perfectly to our final section. Because here's the most important takeaway. Being decisive isn't some trait you're born with. It's a skill, it's a muscle, and you can build it with practice. So how do you actually train that muscle day in and day out? First, you start really small. Cereal or bread for breakfast. Just pick. Done. Then, for other little choices, try the 5-second rule to just force a quick decision. You can also automate routine stuff, like what you wear or eat, to get rid of those decisions completely. And finally, take small, calculated risks. Every time you do, you're building that confidence to handle whatever comes next.
You know, at the end of the day, it all comes down to this one powerful idea. Making progress, taking action, that is so much more valuable than getting stuck deliberating forever, chasing some imaginary perfect outcome. It's all about moving forward, learning as you go, and making adjustments along the way. So, I'm going to leave you with this one question. Look at the rest of your day. What's one small, low-stakes choice you've been putting off? Just one. Now, apply that 2-minute rule and just make it. That's it. That's how you start building this habit. Right now.